Have you ever wondered what makes FromSoftware's games so compelling and loved by the community? Except Dark Souls 2. Um, FromSoft uses unconventional ways to tell a story within their worlds. They do use cutscenes like most games, but they mainly use atmosphere, level design, and item descriptions to tell their stories. But the delivery method is only one piece of the puzzle. The real magic is in how they build the puzzle to convey complex arguments for the player to interpret. For the purpose of this video, to understand all this, we first have to discuss the foundations of the Dark Souls series as a whole. In a world of emptiness and despair, everything felt lifeless, until humanity found life, death, light, and darkness in fire. They used that fire to build a world of strength, magic, and gods. However, their golden age of fire cannot last forever. In Dark Souls 3, the player finds themselves resurrected for the purpose of keeping the golden age alive. But along the way, we as the player must kill all those who kept it going in the past and now refuse to do so once again. There are a lot of cool bosses to discuss within Dark Souls 3. However, the main boss I want to highlight are the Abyss Watchers. They are an undead legion of soldiers, tasked with destroying any remnants of the Dark Abyss, threatening to plunge the world in darkness. However, something seems off about them. When we first meet them, they are seen killing each other over and over. YouTuber VatiVidya claims that the Abyss Watchers have been corrupted during their imprisonment in their crypt. But how does he get to this conclusion? We can start by analyzing a few key facts about the level design, item descriptions, and armor design. First, the boss arena is directly above another level called the Catacombs of Carthus. This is home to another boss that was once an ancient conqueror who was corrupted by the Abyss. Next, interestingly enough, the boss arena is surrounded by a festering poisonous swamp that has changed the landscape and the creatures that live there. All those who linger and walk through are infected. Interesting. The next step is to look at another Abyss-connected character from an earlier installment in the series. Artorias the Abyss Walker from Dark Souls 1. He was a tragic hero who also fell to the Abyss. However, for the sake of time, we can leave his story for another video. But he is an ancestor or master that the Abyss Watchers once served. His armor in Dark Souls 3 tells us that the armor of the Abyss Watchers suggests their own eventual end. Finally, since we know it's the key to their end, let's look at the design of the Abyss Watchers' armor themselves. The armor is super distinct, but it has one easy yet, at first, unnoticeable detail. Along the back, sitting upon their tattered red cape, we can see streaks of black that climb up from the bottom. The placement of these dark tendrils makes the argument that something from below has made its way up to take over them. As explained before, a connection to the abyss dwells beneath them. This is the literal corruption from below that poisoned these noble fighters and turned them into their very own enemy. These techniques are really interesting ways to approach storytelling. Even though FromSoft uses the same techniques for every game, it always feels refreshing and innovative because they take the time to perfect it. A lot of major titles that are released, like God of War or Spider-Man, tell their stories in ways that feel like movies. These are still amazing, but they lack that sense of wonder or feeling of scouring every corner trying to find every answer. FromSoft's puzzle-like atmosphere teaches the player something interesting. This is the beauty of their storytelling. FromSoft allows the player to find and learn about the lore at their own pace, but also rewards the player for doing so. It uses these mechanics to offer the player their own understanding of the boss to form a connection to it. This particular boss tells a story about how it can be easy to succumb to something you are so invested in that you lose sight of everything around you. Only when you take a step back to find the small things can you see the bigger picture. That is why these games hook and captivate so many players. Thank you.